Hello everyone, Professor Cynic here. Quick update on the ring damage for Elite Q and Apex Legends. I recently made a video discussing the extreme damage increase. You can watch that on the little thingy that drops down on the top of your screen. Quick summary of that, the ring damage was massively increased to help prevent people from camping the rim of the ring in order to secure a top 5 finish, thereby allowing them to keep their streak alive and continue playing in Elite Q. This included a 1400% increase in first ring damage. But we now have an update. Respawn listened to the feedback over the past couple of days and has agreed that the change was too extreme. This tweet describes the changes. Legends, around 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time today, circle damage in Elite Q will be the following. First circle now does 7% damage per tick. Previously this was 15%. Second circle does 15%. Third circle does 20%. Remaining circles do 25% damage per tick. Okay, so the most noticeable change is that the first ring was moved from 15% down to 7%. I've played for a couple of hours now with the damage decrease, and in my opinion, this is much more palatable than 15%. At 7%, you still need to play differently than you would in regular queue. You still need to loot fast, you still need to start rushing the ring pretty quickly. But it at least gives you some chance to get out of a fight if you encounter a squad while running towards the next ring. What I found interesting about these changes is that when the increase first happened, most of what I saw online was people praising it. And to be clear, this is what I was seeing on Twitter, so maybe your experience wasn't the same as mine, but most people seemed to be okay with it. So my fear was that they were just going to leave it as is. Then it seemed like the tide was changing a bit. I was seeing more and more people on Reddit and Twitter complaining about the increase. This post I found on Reddit sums it up perfectly. Holy sheep. The oven is going from warm to cleaning mode. LOL, yikes. This is the perfect description, and somehow spawned into a detailed discussion about why you shouldn't use cleaning mode on your oven because it can start a house fire. Gotta love Reddit sometimes. But then I started seeing an overwhelming amount of people saying this needed to be balanced better. And Respawn, as they have shown to do, listened to the fans and brought it down to 7%, in addition to the other ring changes. I think this is a reasonable number. I still have umbrage with the change though, and it's this. The increase to ring damage was in an effort to discourage camping to get top 5. Okay, understood. The problem is, this happens in regular because the ring damage is the same as it was at launch. So you have these people camping the ring, because it's easy to in regular queue, they cheese their way to top 5, and then they're going to Elite Queue, which even at 7% for the first ring, plays entirely different than regular. I think that they need to keep the ring damage the same between modes, and this is why. I'll give you an analogy. So, my favorite football team is the Green Bay Packers. So let's say the Packers play through the regular season, and they get into the playoffs. They got into the playoffs because of their record, which indicates that, generally speaking, their team is more skilled than the teams that didn't make it into the playoffs. Okay, but once they get into the playoffs, they are still playing the game of football. The rules haven't changed. The thing that makes the playoffs more difficult is that they are going to have to play against other high-caliber teams. Not that the rules have changed. And we have the opposite thing happening in Apex. The regular queue can be looked at as the regular season. 20 teams duke it out, and the top 5 get to move on to the playoffs, which is Elite Queue. But the problem is, they essentially aren't playing the same game anymore. It plays entirely different because the rules were changed. It's like if the Packers got into the playoffs, but now they have to play arena football instead. It just doesn't make sense. The thing that should make Elite more difficult is that you are playing against a pool of higher caliber players. The difficulty should not come from a rule change. That is the challenge, playing against better players. So really what I'm asking for is consistency. If you want the 7% ring damage, fine. But then make it that way for regular queue as well. Right now we have people winning cricket regular seasons and then having to play bocce ball in the playoffs. It makes no sense to me. Consistency is what I'm asking for. So here's the part of the video where I want to hear from you. What do you think about the damage decrease? Do you think that this balance was needed? What do you think about the discrepancies between regular and Elite queue? Let me know in the comments down below, and as always, keep the conversation civil. Folks, that's going to do it for me, and until next time, stay cynical. Bye now.